Living anywhere outside of Eretz Yisrael is a punishment. Nobody should want to stay in that punishment zone. Hashem is helping the Jews in America right now by raising the levels of anti-Semitism to be able to help escort the Jews out.
You believe that every Jew living in America should be living in Israel?
Somebody who lives outside of Eretz Yisrael, it's as if he serves a Avodah Zarah.
How do you explain the Lubavitch Rebbe and Moshe Feinstein and the Satmar Rebbe?
The Satmar...
Can you explain it, or do you have to say, I disagree with them, they made a mistake? Were they all just wrong?
Hashem made it clear to us that the right place for the Jewish people to live is in Eretz Yisrael.
Meet Michal Weichbrod, born in Brooklyn and now living in the West Bank. He believes that living outside of Eretz Yisrael is nothing less than a spiritual crisis for the Jewish people. And meet Rabbi Yochanan Shaf, a rabbi in Los Angeles and a community leader who believes that serving Hashem means facing real-world responsibility, not ideology alone. One says Jews must leave America now. The other says faith must account for children, health, stability, and real life. This is not a debate about politics. This is a debate about obligation, sacrifice, and where a Jew truly belongs.
Greetings one and all. Super Wednesdays here in the Holy Land, in the holy city of Elon Moreh Shechem, right next to my holy yeshiva. We are on Wednesday, the first day of the 12th month of Adar. And it says, Mishenichnas Adar marbim besimcha, those that go in when the month of Adar begins, the happiness, the good times, let the good times roll. Okay, we are on, with God's help, our third part of the great debate. Under every class, it is always the original debate between two very well-versed rabbis, one from Eretz Yisrael, from Israel, and one from Los Angeles. So you could watch it, you should watch it, and then you'll be able to understand what I'm relating to. As always, the class is for the sake of heaven, to remove the divine presence from the exile, to improve ourselves one small step in our time, in our generation, is one gigantic step of yesteryear. A shout out to our sponsors, as always, the 24/7 volunteers. They know no rest. Mike and the volunteers doing great things for the Jewish people 24/7. Also, the great blog, palmtreeofdevorah.com. One word, if you have time, or if you don't have time, make time, well worth your time. Folks, I want to tell you this debate, which is listed in the description below, under every class, was seen by approximately 49,000 people. Our first class was seen by 260 people. Now, I've said many times, we are limited by YouTube. YouTube limits our exposure that they allow others, we do not receive. I'm not going to get into all the limitations that they put upon us. So it's really dependent on us, all of you out there, to get the message out. I'm not sure exactly, 49,000 people saw the great debate. Not sure exactly what their reaction was. But let's just put it, let's say that half believed that the rabbi from Los Angeles was victorious. Okay, we're talking about 25,000 people. We got to get to those people. 260 people ain't doing it. I mean, we're always, for one person, we're happy to give it all. But it really depends on you getting it out there wherever you could see. Get it out there. This message has to be heard. Okay. A quick recap of the first two classes. The first class dealt with 2 points. It dealt with the centrality of the commandment of living in Israel. And number 2, the ramifications of Abraham, the first commandment that he received from God, that is told to us in black and white in the Torah, the ramifications of Abraham's commandment to come to the land of Israel. In our second class that went up 4 days ago on Sunday, we were comparing commandments done in the land of Israel compared to commandments that are done outside the land of Israel. I want to add, with your permission, a few quick points and then move on to our new points with God's help. Okay, just a general reminder, the timeline. Whenever I give out dates, I try to give out many of the rabbis where they lived, when they lived, so you get more of a picture of what we're talking about. From the year 1040 to 1492, that's called the early sage period. Before that, it is the Geonim, and then we go back. Forward, we're talking about the later sages till our very time. Okay. 2 points as far as the centrality of the commandment of Israel. An amazing story that I merited seeing on the Talmudic Academy called Machon Meir on their website. I saw the following story. It was told over by Rabbi Shalom Gold. He was a rabbi in Har Nof in a Jerusalem neighborhood. He had amazing classes on the land of Israel. I am told, I never merited to meet him, but I've been told by many that he was a legend. He tells the following story. A young man in the Lakewood Talmudic Academy decided to spend a period of the yeshiva world is divided up into various times of the year. So the longest period that yeshiva runs from is the winter period. It goes from approximately the middle or end of October till approximately April. So he decided to spend a period of learning time in his yeshiva to learn about the land of Israel and the commandment of living there. After he finished, he went to travel to the land of Israel. There, he took a taxi and he met with the leader of the generation at that time, Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach of Jerusalem, of the neighborhood of Shaarei Tzedek. My mom merits to live, Shaarei Chesed, excuse me. My mom lives in that neighborhood. And he came to this young man, he came to the rabbi, and he told him, you know, Rabbi, I've been studying for the last couple of months about the dispute about the land of Israel. And you know, there's a big dispute between Maimonides and Nachmanides whether there is a Torah commandment to live in the land of Israel. Is it part of the 613 commandments? To that, Rabbi Shlomo Zalman replied in Yiddish, I hope I'm pronouncing this, my Yiddish is not good, as is nicht wichtig. In English, it's not important. A little bit taken back, the student continued. You know, Rabbi Shlomo Zalman, there is a famous response by Rabbi Moshe Feinstein of blessed memory, whether the commandment to live in the land of Israel is obligatory or it's voluntary, optional. Once again to this, Rabbi Shlomo Zalman waved his hand and said, it's not important. Excitingly, the student says, the head of the yeshiva, excuse me, but why is this not important? Rabbi Auerbach replied, ask any child in Cheder, which is an elementary school for religious children, where does God want a Jew to live? And they will answer, small kids, they will answer, in the land of Israel. Rabbi Auerbach continued, if this is not your base, if this is not your foundation, all of your pilpulim, all of your intellectual discourse is of no importance. Centrality of the land of Israel, it's the base, it's the foundation, it's the ABC. Put on the seatbelts, folks. Amazing spiritual information. The famous Arizal, who lived in Safed, he writes, could be found in a couple of places. Number one, it is found in the book Sod Yesharim. It's also could be found in the book Tuv Haaretz, written by Rabbi Natan Shapira of Jerusalem. We had mentioned him in a previous class on page 456. As we know, folks, there are four worlds. There are four worlds. The highest world is the world of emanation. Second, creation. Third is formation. And the lowest is our world, the world of action. That's how translated in Hebrew we call it Abiyah. Aleph, Bet, Yud, Ayin. Atzilut, Bri'ah, Yetzirah, Asiyah. And the Arizal hits it out of the ballpark. An amazing thing. You look at religious Jews, they got the white shirts, they got the black pants, they got the beard, they got the strings hanging out of their pants. Some of them have side curls on. So they all kind of look the same. It doesn't really matter where you live, or does it? Yes, it does. The Arizal hits it out of the park. Tomer Devora, and that ball is still traveling. He says an amazing point, that a Jew that lives in the land of Israel, his soul is from a higher world, the world of Yetzirah, of formation. And those that live outside the land of Israel are from the lowest world, from the world of action. Wow, the centrality of the land of Israel. Okay, imagine that. A person's soul is on an entirely different level. You might look the same, but we are not the same. Whoa, if you're still standing, more power to you. Okay. Our second quick summary, something that I wanted to add on. Comparing commandments done in the land of Israel to commandments done outside the land of Israel. So I did not have time in our second class on Sunday to summarize all the great all-star hitters, those Olympic stars, today's Winter Olympics, those stars that make it very clear that the commandments and Torah were made for us to perform them in the land of Israel. Though we are obligated to perform them all over the world, the real place of fulfillment of these commandments and the Torah is only in the land of Israel. This is brought down by Nachmanides, Deuteronomy 11:18, Rabbeinu Bachya in Genesis 46:4, in the Rashba Q&A, Volume 1, Question 134. The Holy Zohar, The Secrets of the Torah, Genesis, page 150, side 1. The Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, Rabbi Moshe Zakut in his book Migdash Melech, the Maharal, in a few places, we'll quote one in his commentary on the 5 books of Moses, Gur Aryeh, Deuteronomy 11:5. The Gra, Rabbi Eliyahu of Vilna, in Aderet Eliyahu, Deuteronomy chapter 5, to name a few of them. So this is the comparison of commandments. Now, believe it or not, with all that said, what we've talked about in the first 2 classes, listen to this, how the tables have been turned. It's not enough. It's not enough that commandments in Torah outside the land of Israel, though, I'll say it again, though obligatory, are not in the same league as the Torah and the commandments that one does in the land of Israel. Totally different league. It's comparing Little League to MLB, Major League Baseball. It's comparing the G League to NBA. Look how communities, individuals have turned the tables. Listen to this. This is a HT, hat tip, to Palm Tree of Deborah for sending me this information. It really disturbed me, but anyways, thank you very much, Tomer Devorah. Listen to this. A quick glance, this could be found at the Yeshiva News Network. A quick glance at the Haredi, the religious press today, reveals an almost endless list of Mehadrin, kosher holiday programs in destinations across Europe and beyond. Anyone passing through the airport in Israel, the Ben Gurion Airport, terminal number 3, in the weeks leading up to Passover night, might momentarily think that they've wandered into the busy street of Rabbi Akiva in Bnei Brak, or in the heart of Geula in the Jerusalem neighborhood near Mea Sharim. Thousands of families weighed down with suitcases, children, and books streamed through the terminal, leaving behind the dust, the scrubbing, and the pressure of the pre-Passover cleaning in favor of a fully prepared, strictly kosher holiday experience overseas. What began roughly a decade ago as a trickle has since turned into a flood. Today, Passover programs abroad are no longer the domain of the wealthy elite. Instead, they have become a practical and often preferable option for the average religious Haredi family. For many families, the overseas experience offers something Israel simply cannot. Okay, listen closely to this. I hope you haven't eaten, because if you ate, you might vomit your guts out. Listen to this. Listen to this corruption of the Torah, turning the tables on commandments outside the land of Israel, bringing them up to some type of pedestal. Listen to this. For many families, the overseas experience offers something Israel simply cannot: a second day of the holiday. There's something uplifting, quote, about 2 consecutive days of the holiday, explains Rabbi Y. Luckily for him, they didn't bring his name, because I would have given him a phone call, tell him a few things. It just says Rabbi Y. I'm asking, not Rabbi Y with a Y, but a W-H-Y. Why in the world? How in the world have you come to this conclusion, this corruption of the Torah? Rabbi Y, why? A veteran supervisor supervises the kosher laws in kitchens and hotels, etc. He explains, who has accompanied these programs for years. It gives families real time to elevate themselves spiritually, without the abrupt rush of the holiday ending so quickly like it does in Israel after 24 hours. The prayers, the meals, the singing at the second closing of the holiday. It creates an atmosphere of a holiday that continues to linger. It's not just a vacation, Rabbi Y concludes. It's a spiritual experience that leaves a lasting impression on our children. It definitely does leave a lasting impression, an awful one. Okay, folks, listen closely. The second day of the holiday outside the land of Israel, it's called Yom Tov Sheni de Galuyot. This, according to the Jerusalem Talmud, Tractate Eruvin, chapter 3, law number 9. It is written there that because the Jewish people did not keep one day in the land of Israel like they should have, they were not scrupulous in keeping the one day of the holidays in the land of Israel, you will now have to keep 2. The famous commentary on the Jerusalem Talmud, the Korban Aida, he writes, this is a punishment. This is a punishment. And it's not just that the Talmud, the Jerusalem Talmud, this can be found in the Khatam Sofer. This can be found in the Avnei Nezer, as we will quote him right now. The Avnei Nezer, the Sokachova Rebbe, he writes, the holiness is so great in the land of Israel. The fixing of the holiday is complete in just one day, unlike outside the land of Israel, where the fixing takes 2 days. Let's get real, folks. What takes one day to complete, to perfect our souls, to complete the fixing, what takes one day is double that time. Imagine you want to build a house. You speak to one contractor, he tells you, listen, it's going to take me 3 years, give me $1 million. You speak to another contractor, he tells you, it's going to take me 6 years, give me $1 million, I will have your house finished. They are both on the same level. As far as contractors go, they are top-notch, both of them. Who in their right mind would take a contractor that's going to take double the amount of time for the same amount of money? You have to be an idiot with a diploma. And here's Rabbi Y. Or maybe it should be Rabbi Vi. It means like, oh no, or OMG. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Starting a new point today. It is written in the tractate of Ketubot on page 110, side B, that those that live outside the land of Israel are likened to ones that worship foreign gods. Those that live in the land of Israel are likened to those that have a god. Now, to this, the Los Angeles rabbi, he tells us, listen, we are not Karaites. We have to understand what the commentators said about this. We don't take things at face value. We aren't Karaites. We aren't eye for an eye. Giving another example, one who speaks evil about somebody else or derogatory about somebody else is likened to one that has transgressed the 3 cardinal sins in the Torah. So we can't take any of this just face value. We have to get down to the inner meaning of it. And that's exactly what we are going to do with God's help. But listen to this. This is an important point, no extra charge. As we know, the Torah consists of 4 different levels. It's called in Hebrew the Pardes, the orchard. It is connected, the 4 levels of learning Torah are connected to the 4 letters of God's name and the 4 worlds that we mentioned at the beginning of the class. There is the translating into English, the literal meaning, pshat, remes, is the allusion, the hints, or the allegorical, the drash, the 3rd part of the Torah, the homiletical side of the Torah, last but not least, the secrets of the Torah. So it is true that we just read it in this past week's portion of Mishpatim. We read an eye for an eye. The Talmud learns out in tractate Bava Kama, page 84, side A. This is not literal. You take somebody's eye out because he took somebody's eye. Take somebody's tooth out because they took your tooth out. No, this is a monetary dispute. However, with that said, listen closely. Maimonides brings down in the laws of damage, in the 1st chapter, in the 3rd law, brings the following. Not only Maimonides, but also Nachmanides, and also the Ibn Ezra on Exodus chapter 21, verse 24. They all say the same thing. A person, the perpetrator that took somebody, God forbid, took somebody's eye out, he really deserves the punishment to have his eye taken out. However, the Torah, in its great mercy, gives a person a chance for an atonement, and instead of removing your eye or your teeth or whatever, they give you a possibility of monetarily working your way out of this. But literally, this should have happened to you. This is very similar. It says in the Torah that if you, various capital punishment, if you perpetrate various transgressions, if you commit various transgressions, it says you should be put to death. But we know that Rabbi Akiva told us that if a tribunal Jewish court in 70 years killed one person, it's like, whoa, we have to check out this court. One person in 70 years. So it is so hard to find all of the conditions needed to put a person to death. So why does the Torah bother to tell us that if you commit these transgressions, you have capital punishment? Amazing lesson. Because really, it's a wake-up call for us, to awaken us, to understand that we really should be put to death. However, God wants to give us a chance to repent. So it's so hard to have all the details in the puzzle come together and they could put us to death. So, with that said, remembering An eye for an eye, yes. Remembering to be put to death for various transgressions. Yes, that is true. However, 3 dots, as we explained. Okay, but we're going to go in the way that the Los Angeles rabbi wanted us to, and we will look at, we're not Karaites, we don't take things at face value. What does it mean that somebody outside the land of Israel is likened to one that worshiped foreign gods? Okay, let's take it away. We're going to hit hard here. The Chesed leAvraham. He's the great-grandfather of the Chida, Rabbi Avram Azulai. He lived in 1570 to 1643. He wrote that book, Chesed leAvraham, in Gaza. Jewish Gaza. I thought it was like conquered territories, that Gaza. Yeah. 1570. He says the following. Outside the land of Israel, God has assigned angels, ministers for every country. Sustenance from God is passed on, so to speak, by God to these ministers, these mediators who give to their designated countries. Every country has a minister, an angel, who is assigned to give out the sustenance from God to their country, whatever it is, Italy, Greece, Rome, America, Canada, whatever. In the land of Israel, we receive sustenance from God directly. That's what it means. Outside the land of Israel, we are receiving God's sustenance through mediators. That is a branch of foreign worshiping. Next, Maimonides. In the Mishnah of Avodah Zarah, chapter 1, the 4th Mishnah, he writes an amazing law. It's really forbidden for us to live outside the land of Israel, as there are churches in our midst. This is as if we are worshiping idols. However, because we've been exiled to these countries, we have no choice. Once again, because we live around the nations, we live around places of foreign worshiping, we are connected. We have a share, so to speak, in the foreign worshiping of the nations. Let us explain this a little bit further. A student of the Rabbi, he's a Rishon. He was in the 1300s in Spain, Rabbi Yaakov Scully. He was a student of the Rabbi. If we must perform commandments outside the land of Israel, what is the difference between outside the land of Israel and the land of Israel? You have to do it. We've said that in the name of the Maharal. The commandments outside the land of Israel, God does not, so to speak, have pleasure from them as much, because they are in an impure land. They are done in an impure land under the jurisdiction of the nations. This is based on a verse in Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verses 36 and 64. The verse in Deuteronomy that I just quoted talks about that if the Jewish people do not do God's will, God will exile us outside the land of Israel. And it says the following: you will worship other gods. Rashi, the classic commentary, He says, I don't understand. It doesn't mean literally, because God exiled you out of the land of Israel, why do you have to, a person has free choice. Why do you have to worship idols? In fact, you're supposed to give your life. So no, that's not the point. It's not God saying in this verse that because I throw you out of the land of Israel, you will worship idols. No, that's not the point. Rather it means that you will pay various taxes to the nations that you live amongst them that are idol worshippers or foreign worshippers, i.e., you are strengthening, we are strengthening these nations who worship foreign gods. That's what it means. Whoa! Now listen to this. I'd like to give a shout out, thank you very much, to the Shmooze Rabbi, Rabbi Schaefer, and I got this information from him. Listen to this. Jewish contributions in the United States and in the world. The Jews, the Jewish people, over the last almost 2,000 years, how much have they contributed to the nations in fields of culture, science, technology, academics, media, medical, economics, social movements? 20% today, 20% of professors in leading universities in the United States are Jewish. 40% of law firms in the New York, Washington, greater Washington area are Jews. Forbes, top 10 wealthiest people in the United States, 5 out of 10 are Jewish. In Forbes, top 400 of the richest people, in America, 139 out of 400 are Jews. In an ethnic study by the Hoover Institute, checking out different ethnic groups, how they fare to other groups, the Jewish community is making close to double the amount that the average American makes per year. Almost double the amount, the Jewish community. Nobel prizes since 1901, 23% have gone to Jews. Jews only make up 2% of America, almost 2%, and in the world they make up 1/4 of 1%. In the National Medal of Science, 30% of the award winners were Jews. This is exactly what the Torah in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 36 and 64. Check it out. This is brought down not just by Rashi, it's brought down by Onkelos, the commentator, also by Yonatan ben Uziel. This is an amazing thing to remember here. This is an amazing concept to remember. It's not that because I'm throwing you out of the land of Israel, you are physically going to worship idols. One that lives outside the land of Israel is likened to one that has foreign worship. No, you're not physically doing it, but we are aiding, we are strengthening, we are building up these nations who worship foreign gods and giving them gas, giving them oil to continue to move and to continue on. Whoa. Okay, it is written in the Talmud, Tractate Kiddushin 48, page 40, side A. A Jew who thinks a bad thought but does not put it into practice. Think something bad. You want to steal something from a store, God forbid. But you go to the store and you don't do it. But you wanted to do it. So do you get credit as if you did the sin, or because you didn't do it, so you don't? So it says that for a Jew, it's not considered to be a sin. The only exception for a Jew, if we think thoughts of foreign worshiping, then even though we didn't actually do the foreign worship, it's still considered to be as if we did. Okay, this is not so with a non-Jew. If a non-Jew thinks about doing something bad, then it is considered, even though he did not in the end do it because something popped up, police happened to walk by or whatever it might be, or he saw a camera and he didn't do it, it's as if he did this. Now listen to this. The Zera Berech in Deuteronomy, on his commentary on Deuteronomy, page 78, he is Rav Brachia Berech Shapira. He lived in 1608 to 1666. He's a student of the famous Megale Amukot. He says the following: outside the land of Israel, because Jews live outside the land of Israel, they are judged like the foreign worshipers. That is an amazing take on the Talmud. If you live outside the land of Israel, as if you are a foreign worshiper. What does that mean? Not that you're doing the practices and the rituals, no. But because you live amongst them, you're one of them. You're counted. You're a citizen. And therefore, it goes according to your law, goes according to the laws of the rulers, the nation. And therefore, even if you thought of doing a transgression and you didn't do it, you get credit as if you did it. Well, like a non-Jew, that is really hitting it out of the ballpark. Moving on. The Chida, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azulai, he lived from 1724 to 1806 in the city of Hebron. He writes this on his commentary on the Talmud in the tractate of Ketubot, in the book Petach Inaim, page 110, side B. There are 70 ministers for 70 nations. When Jews live outside the land of Israel, listen to this, all their Torah that they study and the commandments that they perform go, so to speak, up towards heaven. There, those ministers of the nations receive sustenance and benefits from them. That's what the Talmud is telling us, that one that lives outside the land of Israel is likened to one that worships foreign gods. What? Rabbis, they worship foreign gods? No, not the rituals. But by our Torah studying, by our commandments, we are giving them fuel to continue. It's as if the Jews' service to God is not just for God, but also to the ministers. That is why the Talmud says it's as if they worship foreign gods. They are fueling and supplying continuity to the nations. Next, Rabbi Shneor Zalman of Liadi, famous founder of Chabad, 1745 to 1812 in Belarus. He writes the following: Why are there 2 days of holidays outside the land of Israel? We spoke about this at the beginning of the class. Says the following: God supervises over the land of Israel from the beginning of the year till the end. It's a verse in Deuteronomy. Therefore, only 1 day is needed. Outside the land of Israel, we are likened to idol worshippers, to foreign worshippers. We need 2 days to access the lights of the holiday. This could be found in question and answers, Meshiv Mishpat, volume 3, page 64. The Share Ora, in the end of the second gate, Rabbi Yosef Jectila. He lived 1248 to 1325 in Spain. He's a Rishon, one of the early sages. When Jews are outside their land, they are under the auspices of the nation's ministers and angels. There is no way to bring up, so to speak, their prayers, as the gateway to heaven. Reminds me of a song. And they're buying a stairway. This is the gateway to heaven in the land of Israel. Plus, these ministers do not assist the Jews in bringing up their prayers. Worst of all, the ministers of Edom / Rome / Christianity / America, Europe, do their best to prosecute against the prayers of the Jews being accepted. Whoa. The Maharal in Gur Aryeh, Genesis, chapter 17, verse 8, brings down Rashi, the classic commentator. One that lives outside the land of Israel is likened to one that foreign worships. It means that a person outside the land of Israel has no God to assist him or supervise over him. It's taking the word Eloka not to mean God, to mean a supervisor or assistance. These are the functions of a true God, to assist and to supervise. So outside the land of Israel, we don't have that. In the land of Israel, God is directly involved. Outside the land of Israel was given over to the ministering angels. Therefore, one that lives outside the land of Israel is as if he has left the domain of God. God forbid. In another place, listen to this. The Maharal, Gur Aryeh, commentary on the Torah, Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 38, explains. It says, anyone that lives, in Hebrew, Hadar. Hadar means to live, to dwell, but it also means to glorify, to beautify. Listen to this, Maharal. One that lives outside the land of Israel is glorifying, is beautifying foreign gods. What does that mean? We are told that when the King Solomon tells us in Mishlei, chapter 14, verse 28, when many people do commandments together, when you pray with a quorum, when you pray in a gigantic synagogue, when we do things together with numbers, this creates a sanctification, more of a sanctification of God's name than individuals worshiping God, Hashem. Therefore, when Jews live outside the land of Israel, they ramp up the numbers of the Gentile population, thus beautifying, glorifying, exalting other gods. Go back to what we said, thanks to the Shmuz Rabbi, all those statistics, how the Jewish people over the last 2,000 years have brought up the nations of the world and their lands. They've brought them up, they've glorified them, and they are nations of foreign worshipers. We have a hand in that. Moving right along, the author of the Haflah, Rabbi Pinchas Horowitz, the rabbi of the Khatam Sofer in Germany, 1731 to 1805. He writes on his commentary to Ktubot 110b. It says, listen closely, you might have to rewind here. It says in the Talmud, Ktubot 110b, one who lives in the land of Israel is similar to one that has a God. It sounds like similar, but in reality, he doesn't have God. On the other hand, one that lives outside the land of Israel is similar to one with no God. Similar, but he really has a God. He just turns the tables on us. The Rabbi Pinchas Horowitz, he says it sounds really bizarre. It sounds like the opposite is happening. If I'm not mistaken, the Baal Shem Tov says something very similar. This is unusual language. This sounds like a put down, denigrating the land of Israel, not a praise. Have no fear, folks. Listen to the answer. The answer is, a person who lives in the land of Israel, though he does not perform other commandments, the only commandment he has is he happens to live in the land of Israel. Even though he has one commandment and he looks to us like a person that doesn't have God, he really does have a God. On the other hand, a person who lives outside the land of Israel, who has the study of Torah, who has the performance of commandments under his belt, which seems like he has God, because he lives outside the land of Israel in a place where the Jews are giving sustenance from God then to the mediators. Unlike the land of Israel, which comes directly from God, he is likened to worshiping idols. He is participating because he lives there. He thrives there. He's a part of the system. He gives strength to the nations, sustenance to the nations. Whoa. Point number 5, and then we'll call it a day. There was a dialogue between the two rabbis, the rabbi who lives in LA and the rabbi who lives in the land of Israel. It bothered the rabbi of Los Angeles, quoting from somebody that heard from another person, like a simple person in the land of Israel is worth much more than one of the Gedolim from the a great person or great sage in outside the land of Israel. That was very bothering. Okay, how can it be a simple person? Okay, that I don't buy. I don't buy. We're not Karaites. We're not eye for an eye. We have to look at this deeper. Okay, so let's do it. Let's delve in. Regarding the commandment of sanctification of the new month, listen to this. In the eyes of God, a small band in the land of Israel, small band of Jews in the land of Israel, are more precious in the eyes of God to the great assembly outside the land of Israel. This is brought in the Jerusalem Tractate Nidarim, chapter 6, Law 8. Also, in the same vein, in Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, chapter 8, pages 25 and 26, also regarding the commandment to sanctify the new month, we need Jews in the land of Israel to sanctify the new month. And though they are not on the spiritual level of the Jews outside, the great sages outside, we still go and we look for those simpleton Jews. Even if there are righteous, saintly people outside the land of Israel and a simple shepherd in the land of Israel, we sanctify the new month with the simple shepherd. Even if there are prophets outside the land of Israel and simpletons in the land of Israel, we go with the simpletons. But don't think this is just regarding the commandment to sanctify the new month. No. The great Rabbi Yisachar Shlomo Teichtel, who was murdered in the Holocaust, he lived 1885 he was murdered in 1945 in Hungary. He was very connected to the Munkachur rabbi, a leading anti-Zionist proponent. Also, Rabbi Yisachar Shlomo Teichtel all his life until the Holocaust came, and he reviewed. He delved back into this question. He went back into time and he looked over this subject again, and he wrote this amazing book, Ema Banim Smecha. And in his book, Ema Banim Smecha, pages 58 to 59, he writes, a simple person who builds the Holy Land without any pure intentions for heaven, rather for his own benefit. There is no commandment. There is no lofty spiritual. He's doing it for his own benefit. Does a greater fixing, a greater tikkun in the upper worlds than a righteous person, even the biggest of them. Than a righteous person. Even the biggest of them that recite tikkun chatzot, which is a special prayer that the righteous cry at midnight, so to speak. They cry out for the destruction of the temple, for God to rebuild the temple. A simpleton in the land of Israel who builds the land of Israel is on a greater level than this great righteous person who sits down at midnight and cries and mourns for the destruction of the temples and the rebuilding. What's his proof? As a proof, Rabbi Teichtel brings the Talmud in the tractate Sanhedrin 102b, the evil king, the foreign worshiper, idol worshiper, King Omri. He received 3 generations of kingship, himself, his son, his grandson. What did he do? Since he built a city in the land of Israel, even though he was an idol worshiper and was wicked. But the fact is that he built up a city in the land of Israel. He received reward that righteous people did not receive. 3 generations of kingship. Okay, also in that debate, the great debate, there was a mistake. They were speaking about a maidservant, a Canaanite maidservant, which means that she has the laws of a Jewish woman. She's a convert. It says, a maidservant in the land of Israel is promised the world to come. This could be found in Ketubot 111, side A. In the contemporary work on the famous Ein Yaakov by a rabbi named Rabbi Mordechai Aaron Krieger, he writes, he has 5 volumes on his commentary to the Ein Yaakov. This idea, when it says in Ketubot, in Tractate Ketubot, that even a maidservant living in the land of Israel has a share in the world to come, this idea is similar to the Talmud relating to us that a maidservant saw greater heavenly revelations at the splitting of the sea than the prophet Ezekiel, the son of Buzi. He writes the following: a spiritual place like the land of Israel has such a great spiritual level that even simple people can attain even more than great people without it. Whoa! Simple people in the land of Israel can take over, can pass great people without the land of Israel. Q&A. Questions and answers. Question number 149. In questions posed, it's question and answers about the land of Israel. These were questions that were posed to Rabbi Chaim Kanevsky Zatzal, Rabbi Neventzal Shlita, and Rabbi Aviner Shlita. The question that was posed to 3 of them was, what's better, a simple Jew in the land of Israel or a rabbi outside the land of Israel? Rabbi Kanievsky, a simple Jew in the land of Israel. Rabbi Neventzal, depends how much he's really needed outside the land of Israel. Rabbi Aviner, Rabbi Aviner, he brings down two giants, Rabbi Avraham Yitzchak Kook and also Rabbi Yosef Chaim Zunenfeld, Zatzal, that both state it is preferable to be a worker in the land of Israel than a rabbi outside the land of Israel. This is brought down in the book about the life of Rabbi Yosef Chaim Zunenfeld, the rabbi of Jerusalem, volume 2, pages 157, 158. Rabbi Zunenfeld's grandson learned in the land of Israel in a Talmudic school, and as a married man, he asked his grandfather, the chief rabbi of Jerusalem, due to the difficult financial situation in the land of Israel, the grandson received a rabbi position offer in a town in Czechoslovakia. He asked his grandfather, should he take the position? He's a person just learning Torah in the land of Israel. He's a married person. He's suffering financially. What was the response of Rav Chaim Kanievsky? Rabbi Zunenfeld responded, it is better to be a worker in the land of Israel than a rabbi outside. Rabbi Kook, in the book, The Third Day of Elul, volume 2, paragraph 32, a student asked if he should take a rabbinate position in America where he speaks English, the language. Rabbi Kook replied, it's better to be a businessman in Jerusalem than a rabbi in America. But this really hits it out. Jacob comes and he meets up with his brother after 36 years. The evil Esau, the righteous Jacob. And it says an amazing verse in the Torah that Jacob was afraid. Oh my God, why are you afraid of the wicked? You are a righteous person. Righteous people aren't afraid of wicked people. So, our sages tell us in Breshit Rabbah 76:2, it tells us, listen closely, it tells us that why was Jacob afraid? He's not afraid of the strength of Esau. He's afraid of the merit. What merit? He's a wicked guy. He has the merit. He lived in the land of Israel. All those years where Jacob went to the White House, into Beit Lavan, the house of Lavan, and he was there for almost 22 years. He did not have the merit of the land of Israel. So we have a righteous person outside the land of Israel, Jacob, not just your average bear righteous, but Jacob. And you have a wicked person in the land of Israel. Not so easy to swallow, but these aren't our words. These are the words of our sages. Till next week, get this out. Share it. Get it out. Get the word out. Don't touch that dial.